What up, Geo? We are going to continue our talk on area, or how much space an object can cover. Yesterday we talked squares, rectangles, triangles, trapezoids. Today we're going to talk about kites and rhombuses. First off, a rhombus is that four-sided figure, kind of looks like a diamond if you turn it around. All four of the sides of a rhombus are the exact same length. All right? We talk about a kite. Okay, just like you would fly around outside, a kite would look something like this. And what we know about a kite are those two sides, or those two pairs of sides, are congruent. Okay, so we're going to talk about perimeter. Perimeter is, again, the distance around. So we just have to find the values and add them all up. Or in case of a rhombus, if you know one of the sides, you could just multiply it by 4. More importantly, the word we're going to focus in on today is the word diagonal. All right, and what a diagonal is, it's going to go across from one point across to another point. We're going to call those diagonals. So a kite has 2 diagonals. A rhombus also has 2 diagonals. All right, we're going to need to know what these values are today. So hopefully they give us all that information to find out those values, right? Because here's what's going to happen. When we talk about a rhombus, right, we're going to find D1, D2, multiply them together. That D stands for diagonal. So we're going to find them, multiply them together. All right, so I had to doctor up this one a little bit. I crossed out that number in the middle. But really what it has the side lengths of 6. It has this long diagonal is 25. And the short diagonal, D1, it says is equal to 13. So if we want to find the perimeter, we can just do 6 times 4 and get 24 inches. Now for the area, our formula, and this is where having these down and writing down that area formula, especially like on a test, hey, this is what I know I need to do. Whether you know how to get those values or not is up to you and for you to show me that skill, okay? But what I do know is I need to know D1 and I need to know D2. So once you find them out, write them in. D1 is 13, okay? That's this guy. And D2 is 25. And then we take and substitute them in. And then use our trusty calculator. 13 times 25 divided by 2 gives us 162.5. And now we're talking about area, so we need to have the correct units of measure. You don't have the correct units of measure, you will get stuff taken off. So please, we're talking area, square inches. Next unit, we talk about volume. Volume is cubic inches. We have 2 dimensions we're multiplying together. All right. Here we go. Here's a rhombus, kind of doctored up. Well, we get to find out what x is. X is just this little piece here. Okay? Well, what do they give us? They give us area and they give us a diagonal, or they just give us a piece of a diagonal, right? So we're going to have to set up our area formula, plug in some values, and then solve for the other values, right? So this is our formula. We know the area is 96. We know part of the diagonal, right, from here to here is 7.3 and has that tick mark, so that means this side is 7.3, making the whole total of the diagonal 14.6. We don't know the other diagonal, okay? But what we do know is if we find it out, we can chop it in half and then we get x. So now it's just taking a hold of our algebra skills here. You could either divide this fraction out, or you can multiply and divide. Either way, I'm going to do 2 steps. So I'm just going to multiply both sides by 2. Okay, just making it simple 2 steps. So that's going to be 192 is equal to 14.6 times diagonal 2. And then to get the diagonal 2 by itself, divide both sides by 14.6. And what ends up happening is we get some ugly, weird number, and that's A-okay. We'll just round out what we get because it's not very nice, is equal to diagonal 2. All right. Then we said because x was only part of it, we had to take diagonal 2 and now cut that in half to get x. So x is going to equal 6.575. And then we were in, what were we in? Inches. Okay, since we're finding one side length, it's going to be inches. If we were multiplying to find area, it'd be inches squared. All right. All right. Awesome. Area for kites is the same exact thing. We got to find the values of the diagonals, multiply them together, and divide by 2. So it says find the area. We got a kite, B to D. That's 8. And then that gives us C to E, which is 12. Those are the values of the diagonal. So to find the area, we're going to take 8 times 12 and divide it by 2. 8 times 12 is 96. Cut in half is 48. We are finding area, so we need to have square feet. Find D2 of the kite if the area is 156. All right, so again, it says a kite, talking about area. Gonna need to know the area formula, so good to have this written down somewhere, right? Fill in what we know. 156 is equal to, the diagonal they give me is 26, and they have it dotted in as the whole way, so that's how we know it's the whole way and not just part of it, times diagonal 2 over 2, right? Multiply by 2. I'll change color here for you. Okay, so we're going to multiply both sides by 2, so those can cancel out. So we'll do 156 times 2, 312 is equal to 26 times D2. Divide both sides by 26. 312 divided by 26 gives us a nice whole number of 12. Oh, shoot, what did I forget to do? It's 12 inches, not inches squared, not feet. It's 12 inches. All right, let's take a look at this question. Sarah's making a kite for the big kite flying festival taking place next weekend. The dowels she bought for the frame are 24 inches and 36 inches. How many square inches of material will she need to make her kite? Okay, well, let's answer that question first. How much material? Well, the dowels, right, this weird word dowels, that's the wood part that would make up the kite. So we got to find out basically the diagonals, and then it asks us to, yikes, I'm going to redraw that. That is not nice looking. Okay, then we have to find out the material to cover up this kite. So it gives us one diagonal is 24, and it gives us the other diagonal is 36. So we want to find the area because we want to find out how much we can cover. And it even gives you square inches, so that should be a little hint that we should be finding area. So we're going to do 24 times 36 and then divide that by 2. Oops, not 26. 24 times 36 divided by 2 gives us 432, and we're in square inches. All right, that's how much material we need. You go to Michael's or you go to Joann Fabrics and say, hey, I need 432 square inches of this particular material to cover your kite. All right, now we have to answer the second question. If the material costs 32 cents per square inch, how much will it cost for the material? Well, if I need 432 square inches and I know it's 32 cents, I'm going to take and multiply those together. You get the world's most expensive kite. It would be $129.60 to cover up this particular kite. It's a lot of money, a lot of doski. All right, so that is rhombus, and that is area of kite. Diagonal 1 times diagonal 2 divided by 2. All right, so you can go ahead and get started. I'm going to get cracking on circles. All right, so we're going to find the area and circumference of circles. I like this little size right here. Circumference formula is right here. And again, circumference is perimeter, but it's a special word for a special shape in circle, because perimeter of all the other shapes is just add up all the sides. Circle doesn't have sides, so we got to call it something different. It's the way it is. Okay, and then area, again, is how much space can we cover, is pi r squared. Couple words that we need to remember, right, because this formula right here is circumference equals pi times d. D is diameter. It's the entire length through the center, all right? That's the diameter. The radius is starting at the center and going out to the side. It's half of the diameter. So you need to know one of those values to find out area and or circumference. All right. So when we use that weird looking symbol pi, it's just the ratio of the circumference to the diameter. What we need to know is there's a button on our calculator, it's the pi button, or we can just use 3.14 to represent pi. You have to make sure what it's telling you in there if it's saying use 3.14 as pi. So we want to find the area and circumference of the circles shown. Super easy. This is the radius, 5 is r, so circumference is 2 times the radius times pi, which is equal to 2 times 5, which is 10 pi. Right? Sometimes it might say leave in terms of pi, or take and multiply pi and use 3.14. That's 31.4. And we're not finding an area, we are finding a distance, so that's just centimeters. Okay? How do I find the area then? Area is equal to pi times the radius squared. So we got pi times 5 squared, which is 25 pi. Or multiply 25 times 3.14, and you get 78.5, and we're in centimeters, not feet, centimeters squared. All right, example B is kind of tricky when they give you the entire diameter, right? To find out the circumference, and they give you the diameter, circumference is equal to diameter times pi. Well, we know what that diameter is. It's 12 pi, super easy. Or 12 times 3.14, which is 37.68 meters. Area is where you have to be careful because it's pi times the radius squared. 12 is not the radius, it's the diameter, so we have to take 12 and divide it by 2 to get 6 for the radius. So we're looking at pi times 6 squared, which is 36 pi, or 36 times 3.14, gives you 113.04 meters squared. So do they give you the radius? Do they give you the diameter? That's up to you for you to figure out. Now, we got to find the diameter if area is 20 pi inches squared. So here's how we're going to attack this. We know the area formula is pi r squared. We also know that area is equal to 20 pi inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 20 pi and set it equal to pi r squared. And then we get to do a little solving, right? Since both sides have pi, I can cancel those out. It's like dividing both sides by pi. Right? So now I have 20 is equal to r squared. Now, how do I get rid of a square, right? We've done so far with our algebra, adding and subtracting, multiplying, dividing. What gets rid of a square? We do the old little square root symbol. 20 is not a perfect square, so you're going to have to use your calculator to do the square root of 20. R is approximately, and we'll round to 2 decimal places, so it's going to be 4.47. That's the radius. Question asks us to find the diameter, so we're going to take that number, 4.47, multiply it by 2, and we get the diameter is equal to 8.94 inches. Okay, so again, we use the area formula, set up what they gave us for area equal to the area formula, solved for r. Since it asked for diameter, we took our radius and we multiplied it by 2. Okay, this is saying what is the radius if C is equal to 36 feet? All right, well, C is circumference. We know that that's 2 times pi times the radius, 2 pi r. Okay, we also know the circumference is 36. So what we're going to do is we're going to take both of those equations and set them equal to each other. Now this one's a little bit different because both sides had pi in the last case, but since we have all multiplying, we can just divide both sides by 2 pi. All right, so 36 divided by 2, and then 18 divided by 3.14 is going to give you the radius is approximately 5.73, and we're in feet. All right, what if I asked what is the area if the circumference is 36 feet? Then you could take the radius, plug it into pi r squared, and get your answer for that. All right, given the following circle and their area, find the radius and diameter. So you guys go ahead, try to figure this one out on your own. Go ahead, pause the video, and then I will set up the equation here and go through it. All right, so we know area is 225 pi. I also know area is equal to pi times the radius squared. So I'm going to take those two, set them equal to each other. Since both of them have a pi, oops, not that one. Since both of them have pi, I'm going to divide both sides by pi. Get 225 is equal to r squared. How do I get rid of the square? We're going to take the square root. The square root of 225 is equal to 15. So the radius is 15 yards. Do not forget about the units of measure. 15 is the radius. That means double that, and you get the diameter is to be 30 yards. All right, so go ahead, get working on your 2 assignments. If you've already gotten done with the kites and rhombus, go ahead, work on the circles. Let us know if you have any questions. Have a great evening, everybody.